Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. Today is August the 20th, and I am brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. This is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into our Just for Today in a meditation. I was just checking emails from you guys, and I am so encouraged to start hearing regularly from some of you. So I'm excited. Reach out to me. Let's be a force for goodness in your life, okay? August 20th, facing death. Often we have to face some type of crises during our recovery, such as the death of a loved one. Basic text, page 102. Every life has a beginning and an end. However, when someone we love a great deal reaches the end of their life, we may have a very hard time accepting their sudden, final absence. Our grief may be so powerful that we fear it will completely overwhelm us, but it will not. Our sorrow may hurt more than anything we can remember, but it will pass. We need not run from the emotions that may arise from the death of a loved one. Death and grieving are parts of the fullness of living life on life's terms. By allowing ourselves the freedom to experience these feelings, we partake more deeply of both our recovery and our human nature. Sometimes the reality of another's death makes our own mortality that much more pronounced. We reevaluate our priorities, appreciating the loved ones still with us all the more. Our life and our life with them will not go on forever. We want to make the most of what's most important while it lasts. We might find that the death of someone we love helps strengthen our conscious contact with our higher power. If we remember that we can always turn to that source of strength when we are troubled, we will be able to stay focused on it no matter what may be going on around us. Just for today, I will accept the loss of one I love. I will accept the loss of one I love and turn to my higher power for the strength to accept my feelings. I will make the most of my love for those in my life today. Isn't that powerful? Like, to me, it really feels like, I guess because I'm in it, I'm dealing with that and have dealt with so many losses over the last 2 years, 3 years now with COVID, that it has shown me this is so true. Like, it may feel like the worst thing that you have ever had to encounter, but miraculously tomorrow shows up. Like, if I don't do anything to abort my life, if I don't do anything to harm myself and cease to live, tomorrow comes. Generally speaking, I end up on the wake up list, whether I wanted to or not. Tomorrow always comes. And then the next day always comes. It is a forward movement, a forward progression. And with it, I carry the emotions of the day prior or of the moment, right? So over time, if we give time, like we learned yesterday, giving time, over time, I am further away from the event that caused the remorse or the pain or the grieving in my life. It's natural. I cannot get away from it. It is going to happen. Just like with my brother-in-law having passed this week, Monday. Every day I have decided to wake up and do the same things that I normally do in my morning routine. Because my staying stuck on Monday and the suddenness, and it really wasn't all that sudden. We brought him home with hospice, right? But it was sudden in the sense that he was doing good in the moment that it happened, comparably good, right? And so the shock of that, we're talking Monday. Today is Saturday. So we're talking a whole 5-6 days has passed. And every day I get new enlightenment. I get more understanding about what impact he had on my life, what I'm supposed to do with that information. And I'm watching my sister, his wife, right? I'm watching her carefully, right? I'm starting to see she's coming out of the anger part of it, right? Not completely, right? But she's coming out of that first stage of denial because she has been preparing for this day due to his health for some time. But over the last 6 days, I've seen her have more in the moment moments. The first day, on that first full day that she woke up a widow, was a day of me listening to her reminisce about their relationship and all of her other past encounters with people that reminded her of death. Okay. So it was a day of just her in the past, thinking about the things of the past and going back over those interactions and my just listening to her. Then there was some moments where she needed to get a couple of things, a few phone calls taken care of. And she would come from the past into the here and now and handle those tasks, but they were brief. And her ability to cope with them was challenged. She could only stay in the here and now to take care of the task at hand briefly. But as I've watched these last few days go by, I'm seeing some of her laughter coming back, her intentional humor coming back. I'm seeing her creative juices, her creativity waking up, right? I'm seeing her to start to plan what type of decoration she wants for his reception, right? So without her intentionally taking her life or anything like that, one day after the other has happened, and there has been a process of growth or moving forward as a result, because it cannot be avoided. That is Mighty Stream's point, that when we are facing death and recovery, death is that final stage of life on life's own terms, right? Because, well, we talk, it could end in jails, institutions, and death, right? Active addiction. But if you don't have active addiction at play to cause you to break the law, right? And be pulled away from society or have to go into treatment, right? If you're not in that environment, the life on life's own terms, the natural end of that is that we do pass away, we do die, right? And we can embrace that moment. We can embrace the process of death if we have notice. But even if we don't have notice and it's sudden, we can embrace the beauty of our loved ones departing, right? And honor who they were, the way that they loved us, the way that we loved them, right? We can make it as gentle and as beautiful as possible. I used to think I used to have this major reservation. I could handle everything except for losing my mother. And I still don't think I will do all that well. But I have had such beautiful, intimate interactions with my mother that I know that she's ready. I know that I wouldn't say ready, like she, laying there with hospice and she knows the inevitable. But I know that she knows that her health is changing and anything is possible. But she's very responsible for an 82-year-old. She just drove herself to the doctor the other day, and she has come to check on me, I would say about 3 times now, unexpectedly since my surgery. But she's comfortable with who she is. She doesn't feel the biggest thing for her was after losing my papa, that she was able to survive not, just 1 decade, but 2 as a widow. And it's been amazing watching her sit there with my sister and hold her hand and talk to her and love up on her and give her some, advice or instruction, and then sit back in her chair and let my sister go on her merry way with that advice or instruction in mind, because she has walked the same thing. In fact, when my mother lost Papa, my sister was the main sibling on deck. She was the main one. And I just want to say to you, death is never easy, but you have your own story. You have your own relationship with the person or persons you've lost. And it's okay to make scrapbooks. Men don't really get into scrapbooking, but I would recommend it. It's okay to make like a photo album or whatever that's dedicated to just them in your relationship. And you can write all the notes that you want and put them on sticky notes, or you can make it look real fancy. You can go as big or as large as you want, but to honor their life and then have something that's tangible that you can share with your children in the future and say, this was your papa, or this was, whoever. I want you to remember how your mother was. You don't remember her too much because she passed when you were 4, right? But I want you to remember who she was, and I want you to see these pictures, how she loved you. And, you have pictures in your phone that you can go to Walmart, not Walmart. Well, I guess you can Walmart, but you can go to Walgreens and hook your phone up and hit print for those photos on your phone that you want, and you can build a memorial to them that is everlasting. It's something that you can take with you when you move from place to place and when you go. I just want you to get in the habit of understanding that death will happen, and it will be some of our greatest challenges in recovery is to deal with the death of a loved one and stay clean. But if you do, it gives you opportunity to be present at their service, not have to live another 10 years of avoiding people in the family because you didn't show up, or you showed up and you were a hot mess, right? And then the experience of having endured that and walked through that in a manner that gives dignity to not only yourself, but to your loved ones and to the loved one that was lost. It is an amazing opportunity to recover. That's all that I can say, really, is that the death of a loved one is an amazing opportunity to recover. Sometimes losing someone now makes it more possible that we could really potentially lose. We could lose our loved one. We can lose our life. We can lose, when I say our loved one, we can lose another loved one. How well are you taking care of those current relationships you have? You can lose your own life. How well are you taking care of your life, your health, your circumstances? Far be it from me to speak too much about it, but I have a family member who lost her son. And in the effort to take her, to have her grandchildren and his siblings present, 2 of his nephews, right, which would be her grandsons, were shot. One is still in the hospital, one is doing, recovering well. But the point is that sometimes, depending on the circumstances that we are in, they were just there to be there and help grieve and bury their uncle and ended up being shot, right? And so life is just that fragile. It's just that unpredictable. But what can we do to make it more predictable? Right? What are the forces in our lives that we personally can handle so that it is better? There is less of a chance for error. The things that we can change, we should be changing them. And if we don't have the courage to change them, we need to ask for the courage to change them. Those things that we can't, we need the wisdom to know the difference that we can't, right? But the things that we can, let's be asking God, help me to eat better, help me to exercise, help me to stop smoking cigarettes. I have so many friends that still smoke. And I am amazed because the majority of the losses of life that I have encountered, the majority in recovery, let me put it like that. Let me put that waiver out there. In recovery, the majority of the losses, with the exception of COVID, and really kind of indirectly related to the same thing, have been lung cancer. Yeah. Because the majority of the ones I actually lost due to COVID, they were already compromised with their lungs because of their habits of smoking, right? And so I just want to encourage you to look at what you can change and change that. My name is Maddie Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.